Your weather guy here, back with another tropical update. So things have gotten pretty active in the tropics, and looks like we're going to have something else to track if the models are correct. So we'll get right into it. So obviously we had Francine move ashore Louisiana as a Category 2 recently, and then we just had our system move into the Carolinas. It wasn't classified, I didn't name it, although it was just as strong as a tropical storm. Put down some prolific rain totals in parts of the Carolinas. But now we're going to be moving our attention to the Caribbean, and a lot of the models are actually, it's really impressive consistency right now in what they're showing. Pretty impressive agreement. So this is the GFS I have pulled up, and this is Monday of next week. So a little bit of time to watch this, obviously. This hasn't formed yet, but a lot of the models are indicating something is going to get going in the Western Caribbean. So if we move down here, we can see our low pressure. You can see 1,005 millibars there. This is Monday. And then as we put this into motion, we can see it move north across the western tip of Cuba, and then deepening as it does so, and then moves it into western Florida, just north of Tampa, it looks like, and this would be late next week. So that's the GFS, and then from there, it kind of rides up the eastern seaboard and brings with it heavy rainfall and gusty winds up and down the East Coast, and that would be this weekend. Not this week, I'm sorry, this would be next weekend, then possibly into early next week before that moves off and dissipates. So that's the GFS. We'll switch over to the Canadian model. Actually first let's, because I want to show you something interesting on the Canadian model. So first let's actually pull up the European AI, which did a really good job sniffing out Francine and then the system that we had off the Carolina coast. But let's pull that up and see what it's showing. And you can see very similar, right? So this is now Tuesday, has that low pressure, 1,007 millibars, moving north into the Gulf of Mexico, and then strengthening as it does so, and then brings it a little bit further north than the GFS had it, brings it more up towards the Panhandle and the Big Bend, and then again moves it up into the Carolinas, and then instead of moving it up the East Coast like the GFS, kind of moves it out back over sea. Once it enters into the Carolinas. So that's the European AI. So also seeing something similar here. And then now let's switch over to the Canadian model. All right, it's kind of rinse and repeat at this point, but I want to show you it does do something interesting at the end of the run. So here's the Canadian again. Low pressure, 996, moves it into the Gulf, strengthens it quite a bit, and then actually same landfall point really as the European AI. And then afterwards does something quite interesting. So actually I'm going to switch over so we can take a look at another view here. Let's go to the, the Eastern U.S. view here. Now, once it makes landfall, so this is now Thursday of next week, it brings it ashore into North Florida. And then look at this, moves it up into the Appalachians and into the Ohio Valley, and it doesn't really weaken. That's a 985 over the Ohio River. So it's like, all right, what's going on there, right? As soon as I saw that, I was like, all right, what's the story? Because that is unusual, right? When these things move over land, that's when they weaken. So something is going on that's preventing this storm from weakening. So if we actually switch over to the upper air pattern, we can see what's going on. Let me actually put this back at landfall. All right, and there's our hurricane moving into the northeastern Gulf. And then if we look to the west and to the northwest, we see this trough here. And this trough, as it swings eastward, it's going to kind of scoop up our system and merge with it. And then so we have some type of hybrid system, kind of like what Sandy did when it came ashore in New Jersey back in, my memory's fading me, 2012, I think that was. Not that I'm forecasting Sandy, but similar type of situation where you have it kind of going extra tropical, and that's what allowing it to maintain its strength, or maybe even strengthen if something like this were to happen. So switch back over to the precipitation view here, and you can see that. So whenever you have something like that going, it actually allows the wind field to expand over a greater area. So this would be a pretty big storm if the Canadians right. Now this is 240 hours out at this point, so I have no idea if this is going to happen. Just thought that was interesting, and it's just something that we'll watch. But the bigger story is these models really kind of cluing in on some type of development next week and into next weekend. So this is the GEFS, right? The GFS Ensembles here, and you can see. So this is all of its models that it runs, and you can see the individual model outputs there. 997, 997, right? So similar type of strength. And then as we move it into the Gulf of Mexico, that's where it really starts to strengthen. You have warm sea surface temperatures and a good upper atmosphere, at least favorable for development. That's what the models are suggesting here, because they really deepen. We have 940s, and if I switch over to the European ensembles, you can see similar story. Look at all those areas of low pressure. So many of the models are seeing similar type of situation here, where we have that area of low pressure, and then the Western Caribbean move up in the Gulf of Mexico, and then really bomb out. I'm going to zoom in. I'm going to show you this. We have 930s there approaching the northwestern coast of Florida. So that's like Category 4, Category 5 strength. Again, not forecasting that at this point, but what the models are showing is not only favorable environment for development, but really this thing could strengthen and really bomb out. So we're gonna have to watch this. This could be the system of the year. We'll see, and that's what the models are showing at this point. But look, long time out. Anything can happen at this point, but at this point we have to put out a video saying, like, look, we need to pay attention. Anywhere from Texas over to Florida and up the East Coast need to be paying attention to this. So we'll have more updates as we have more data in over the next couple of days. So if you haven't hit that subscribe button, please go ahead and do so you can help this channel to grow and get those future updates. Thanks for watching.